Hi, my name is Monica Chereniak and I'm here with Fearless Cooking. Today we're going to do a Korean dish called bulgogi. It's a barbecue. It's a beef barbecue, but it can be vegetarian, it can be chicken, anything you want. It can be prawns. But we're doing a beef one today. So the first thing we are going to do is I have here a New York steak. You can use a flank steak, you can a skirt steak, you can use one of the cheapest cuts. I so happen to have a New York steak on hand, and that's what I'm going to produce. So it is best to have this frozen. Then you can slice it in very thinly slices like this. That's an important part. Cut up already from the Korean or Asian store, which they have that meat in the freezer, and that would be the easy way to do it. But we're just going to slice this all up, and as you can see, the meat is not so badly marbled. It should be more marbled, but which gives you a much better beef and just tastier. So as you can see, it's all being nicely sliced up. You can also make this with the mandolin if you don't want to cut it that thin, but the thinner the better. It goes very fast. It'll only be a few minutes that it's thawing out, and in the meantime we're going to make the marinade, which is the most important part. And it's a very interesting marinade that you can use for any of your beef and your barbecues. So we're starting off with some soya sauce, and just put a little bit of soya sauce in here. Then we're using some rice vinegar. We need the sweet, sour, salty, pungent, and the umami taste that we actually have. We're also taking some MIRIN. MIRIN gives it always, it's a little bit sweet. It's a wine. You can use this for any marinades. And then we're adding some sugar, brown sugar. And the most important thing, I have here 5 cloves of garlic, and that's very important. You need a lot of garlic for this dish. That really makes it. And then a little bit of honey. What the honey does is basically it will caramelize your meat and get nice and brown. And then the very interesting thing is we're adding a kiwi. Now, the original marinade calls for a Korean pear, and you might have seen they're quite large and they're very expensive. You get them at Whole Foods here and Korean shops, of course, but one piece is like $5-6. Korean pears and kiwi have the same enzyme that really goes through the meat and marinates the meat fantastically. Kiwi, which looks like a gorilla ball for some of us, is making sure it's very soft. You can dice it up, chop it up, you can grate it up, whatever you like. I'm just going to cut it up and add it to the marinade. This is a rather soft one, which is great. You can also, you don't really need to use the whole kiwi, but I am. It's very soft, easy to mash up. And we're adding this here. I'm going to give this a bit of a stir, make this even more mushier. And then the only thing we have to add is toasted sesame seed. You can buy toasted sesame seeds already in the packages at your Asian stores, quite easy. If they're really white, I would really recommend you toast your sesame seeds, because otherwise they don't have much flavor. But I don't want all these thick ones in there, so I'm going to just crush it up a little bit in my beautiful mortar and pestle. And then we're going to add this just a little bit. Add a couple of spoons. Years ago I was extremely allergic to sesame seeds, but I've outgrown it somehow. And all we're going to do is put this in a dish. Make sure we get all the goodies out of here. Also going to add a little bit of sesame oil. Sesame oil is fantastic in Korean cuisine as well as Chinese, any Asian cuisine. Sesame oil really gives you dish that oomph. And some black pepper. And now we're going to marinate this with our hands. Just massage your meat. As ridiculous as it might sound to you, but it really helps. We're going to let this rest. You can let this, you can do this the night before if you wanted to. You can give it at least 30 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. Let it sit outside and just marinate it. And that's it for the marinade. We'll see you in half an hour. So now we have marinated our meat, not overnight, it's been a couple of hours. And we're going to saute this out. You don't need a lot of oil on this. You just need a hot pan. And we're also going to add some onions in there. We're probably doing this in a few stages. Now once you have added your meat, don't touch it. Let it get brown. It's just with the steak. Leave it be. If you start mushing it around, you will rip it into pieces, and that's not what you really want. Okay, now we're going to put 2 pieces at a time in here. Now you can also use ground beef, which is more the budget version, and you put in a lot more of your sugar or mirin, because you want to really get it caramelized with ground beef, and then you rip it all apart in the end. But it's usually bulgogi, I just love that word, is sold as a wrap. It's a lunch, especially in Korea, and you get it on the street everywhere, and people either put it in a wrap, or I will show you at the end how they're eating it, and it's really, really good. It's delicious. So here we are. Look at this. 1 7-ounce steak. Give us a lot of, see how nice and caramelized everything is here? That's fantastic. The smell is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now what we're going to do, we're going to add some more sesame seeds. And then I will show you how we eat this. So in Korea, they're eating this as a lunch wrap. It's packages sometimes. And what they're doing is just taking some of the meat. But here comes the kicker. And that is gochujang. Gochujang, if you're interested in Korean cooking, gochujang is made out of chili and rice. And it's very, very spicy. This is a mild one, so I'm just going to put 1 tiny little spoon on it. But the dipping sauce itself is samjang. Samjang is made of soya based, and it's absolutely delicious. It's fermented, and it has quite a little bit of an oomph, but it has this unbelievable umami taste and flavor. So I'll put a little bit on it, and then we're going to, this is basically your dipping sauce. So this is how they eat it. Delicious. So if you want something really different and delicious and very fast, if you don't count the marinating time, this is it, bulgogi. And I just wanted to let you know that if you're using tofu, which you can, or vegetables, you do not need to marinate it. Just make the marinade, but you don't need to marinate it for half an hour, because they're not really sucking up the flavor of it. If you enjoyed this video today, please do subscribe. It would help us tremendously to move forward and share our fearless cooking. Remember to be fearless in your kitchen.